Hey there, it's Lynda Cromar coming back to you from Colorado. And as you can see, I've got a graphic up here. I just put this up for the purpose of sharing with you how you can get in touch with me. And I'm not going to turn my screen right away, and there's a reason why. If you are in iPhone, don't upgrade to the newest upgrade, which I believe is 9. I did before I found out that it is supposed to create a problem with your front screen. It will freeze up and it will cause problems. So I gotta get this balance. Sorry. So I decided I better not turn the screen and have a bunch of problems. I will do it at the very end just to see if it actually does that to me, because it may not actually do that to everybody. So I will probably leave it on the back screen for the majority of this, just for the purpose of making sure that I don't get my audience all upset. So as the title says, we're going to talk about the difference between an audience and a following, or just people that are following you kind of haphazardly. And it can be in any social media, not just Facebook, not just Twitter, not just Periscope, but all over. It's upside down? Oh dear. Okay. I'm not actually doing landscape, so I would suggest you bring it back to actually let's see if it makes any. Does that look better to you if I do that? Let me know, because I haven't used the landscape mode much, but I want to make sure that it looks good. But actually it's hard on this looks weird on the camera. So just bring it back to up and down on your phone, because I'm not filming in landscape. I have a special camera. Does that look any better? Or does it look better for me? Ooh, that looks better, doesn't it? Okay, they see it backwards even though I have it up and down, because I'm not doing landscape. So if you bring it to landscape, it is going to be sideways. Just to let you know, I'm not doing landscape. So anyway, I'm seeing it straight up. I'm not seeing it upside down. Okay, so I'm fine now. So the only thing I did was I was using a lens that actually is supposed to help make it look further away, but if it's making it look upside down, we don't want that, obviously. Okay, so what I was saying is, anyone with iPhones, there is a new upgrade, and I think it's version 9. You don't want to upgrade if you are doing scopes, because apparently it will cause problems until Periscope gets an upgrade as well. Yes, I am vertical on purpose. I do this because actually it is the way I'm doing my, I like it better. We have plenty of, I think what I'm seeing is the horizontal is actually smaller, harder to see for the viewers. When I look at anyone that's doing it, at this point anyway, it's smaller. Yes, it is, horizontal, but it's smaller. And I think it's more important to get really as close as possible to your content so that people can see it better. And that this isn't the content for what we're going to talk about, but like I said, I'm not flipping the screen today because I don't want it to freeze in the middle of what I'm saying. Yes, smaller and bigger views. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Yes, when you turn it horizontal, it's further away. It's going to be a smaller screen. It actually isn't closer. It is smaller. Just the way the camera does, I think, in most people's phones. So, anyway, so you're not going to see my face, not because I don't want to, but because it will actually possibly freeze. I haven't attempted to see if it will, but I'd rather do that at the end. And if it does, it doesn't kill the whole video for all of you that are trying to get something out of this, that I just promised you some information. So I'm going to go flip over to Facebook. And so we're on the main feed. And if you see, there's a stream. We call this the feed of people that are posting. Now, these people are obviously friends of mine, but they're not my audience. There is a serious difference, and a lot of people don't understand the difference, but it is important to know, because your audience is people like the ones that are right now in this Periscope, and they're watching, and they watch, and for my scopes, when they come up, they get into it, they want to watch. And the ones that are giving me those lovely pink hearts, I think it's Mike, but I could be wrong, it could be someone else, and I don't want to, make it that it's somebody else, and they're obviously sharing hearts, and I appreciate that. People that will do that are actually an audience member. So I hope you get the difference. The followers and friends in your Facebook, in your Twitter, in even YouTube, wherever else they are, if they're just there, but they don't actually follow you and get into, your content, get on your, like on Facebook, if I, switch over to the personal profile, it's the ones that actually come over and make comments, like, whatever. Let's find one where that's happening. Okay, I think on this one there was. No. Okay, there is likes. Okay. So if you see, I know I've got quite a bit of content, but there's some where they don't say anything at all. But sometimes they'll like, see, you're seeing likes in here. You're seeing comments occasionally. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's others. But if there's likes, those people are your audience. When you have the main feed, or the ones that are in here today and staying with me, there's 9 that are staying with me in this broadcast. So those are audience members, because they're enjoying the content and they're getting something out of it. So if we switched over to Twitter, it would be the same thing. If you look at the main feed, which is right here, obviously these are just people that have followed at one time or another, but they're putting up their own content, right? So on this feed. So these people right here that are in this main feed, they're followers, but they may or may not pay any attention to what I say or to any of my content, so they are not audience members. They become audience members when, for instance, on here, you will see that they are, if they do what this lady did right here, is by adding me to a list. Adding me to a list because she wants to follow my content. She wants to be aware of when I do a new broadcast. And so did this person here. And or if they favor favorite a list, they favorited actually one of my AWeber, which is sending out a email. So this is the beginning of an audience when you see this kind of thing happening. And so this is to help you understand the difference between what happened here in this part, people following, people adding you to, retweeting, people adding you to a list. That is audience. When they are just over here on the main feed and putting up their own content but not necessarily seeing any of yours, then that is just friends and followers but not necessarily audience. They're not paying attention to what you're doing yet. And so how do you turn people that are just out there, but they don't pay attention to what you do? You are going to want to give good content, and you are going to want to do things that actually convinces them to look again. One thing I learned, now this is just for broadcast, but obviously you can do it in other parts of the internet to a degree. For instance, I will share my own broadcasts onto Twitter about 3 times after it happens. Now it automatically tweets out when I broadcast. So the broadcast has already been tweeted out for right now. If I come over here to my personal profile, you can see that we're live right now with this particular broadcast. So obviously I wouldn't tweet it right now. Now others can share it, and when you do, you are an audience member. Anyone that would share is an audience member, because they have decided that it's enough value that they believe that it is worth sharing to others. Now this clarification seems simple enough, but I think a lot of people don't really get it, because if you're just tweeting, if you're just posting all the time, but you're not really doing anything that convinces them to become audience, whether you know it or not, then you want to make the switch over to where they're actually saying, yes, I like what you're sharing enough that I'm going to share it. And if somebody actually uses the star, or they retweet, or they favorite, or they do something else with my content, which I'm getting that pretty consistently now in Periscope, then that means that they're starting to become an audience member. Do you understand the difference? And is there questions in the audience of the ones that are watching? Do you have questions for me that I can clarify this further so you understand the difference between a follower or a friend and an audience member? This really does matter, because of the fact that when you start to develop an audience, you get a little more clear, for one thing, of what they want to hear, what they want to see, what they are attracted to, what your audience wants you to say and share on a regular basis. They're going to be more clarified. So people that come on and they stay for any length of time, they're coming on and staying because they found that you gave them something that helped them. Okay, cool. You understand perfectly. Good. That is really important. I think that's what's really going on in social media for general, not just, the Periscopes, or not just Twitter, but if you go out to the regular main feed in Facebook, you see a lot of people, sometimes they offer you pretty decent stuff. And you see no likes, no comments, no likes, no comments, no likes, no comments, no likes, once in a while, no likes, no comments. So what's happening in this main feed? People are posting to themselves. They're not getting people to them. They're either not figuring out who their audience is to begin with, or they're deciding to just post and post and post and just hoping that someone will see it. Well, the problem is no one is going to see it. Facebook, Twitter, all of these different places, they're getting to the place where they algorithm people out if they don't get any engagement. Now, engagement is when someone comments, someone tweets, someone likes, someone favorites, someone shares, whatever happens in that kind of a position, that all means engagement. Or in here, when people make comments, when people share, when people give hearts. That's all engagement. And that's what you're actually going for when you send out any kind of content during your everyday day of posting. You know, if you post once or you post 20 times, it's not going to matter if no one ever sees it and no one cares. So what can you put up? This I didn't pause on this for any particular reason, but what can you put up that actually gets people to say, oh, I like that? For one thing, advertisements generally do not work. Videos often work better than anything else. That's why this particular platform, Periscope, is so popular. Did you know that we're now up to 5 million people that have joined Periscope? Probably about 50% are followers only, audience members only. They are not Periscoping themselves. Pictures are second. So isn't that interesting? Video is the top. Pictures are second. Sharing things that are not part of the native. In other words, this is a YouTube video. It's not going to get as much attention simply because Facebook actually doesn't make it as easy for something outside of Facebook to show up. Native content works better than sharing it over from another place. Not always, but sometimes. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Periscope just got a share to Facebook button. If you've looked over, and for anybody in iPhone, it's swipe right, and for anybody in Android, it's swipe down, I believe, or swipe up. If you look at the share buttons, now, if you've upgraded, you've got 3 share buttons. You've got one for Twitter, you got one for your followers, and you got one for Facebook. So I don't know how the share button over from Facebook works in Facebook, but it's a new thing. It's new, so it's going to be more exciting, and more people are going to say yes to that. So when you look at what gets, look at your feed. What gets the most attention? What gets people to even see it? Video usually gets a lot of attention, but it depends on where you post it. This is in a group. Groups get the least amount of attention of all. So group posting is probably the least possible way that you can even get even the least amount of social media attention and engagement. You see people that are doing this, and look at how many I'm going past where there's no likes, no comments. Very few are getting that much. Now, if you think about it also, the majority now are on mobile devices. Now, I still use a computer, but I am looking to get into a mobile device, a laptop, within the next year and completely abandon the desktop completely. I got this great big screen at one time because of the fact that I used to be a graphic designer, web designer. I needed the screen to make it easy for me to do that work. I don't have to have a big screen for what I'm doing now. So it's kind of redundant, except for that that's where I'm at this point. So what is it that people are using? Mostly their cell phone, mostly their smartphone. So people are looking at things smaller. Think about it. It's smaller on a cell phone. So if it's smaller, what gets your attention? A very striking picture or video generally gets the most attention. So that's what you want to make sure you realize. Don't do any advertising with your business constantly. I promise you that's not working. Stories and pictures are working better. So you're looking for engagement. You're looking for audience. And that is what's going to matter the most. So that's kind of, let's wrap this up. I was sharing with you that you're not seeing my face, not because I'm not willing to show my face, but because I did upgrade to the version 9 in my cell phone without knowing that it was not a good idea until after the fact. I did not want to have frozen screen in the middle of this and not know whether it's broadcasting correctly. And I wanted to make sure you got the good information that absolutely, without a doubt, you want to be able to actually be able to connect with your audience in the right way. And if you want to learn more from me, you can connect with me in Twitter and Periscope with the same username, Lynda Cromar. And Facebook also is at Lynda Cromar with a 1 behind it. My main website is lyndacromar.com. I have a private coaching that I am doing now. It's at parasociability.com. That is this turquoise link that I have right here. I'll make sure you can see it. It is free at this point. Right now I'm doing my test group. You can be part of that by simply going to parasociability.com. And it's an application just with an email. And then when you do that, you will actually land in my group or be sent to my group. And that way I will be sharing a lot of what I'm doing here and more right there inside of that group. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'm going to see if we freeze. If we don't, great. And I know that it's safe. If not, you got some good information either way. It looks like my screen is fine. Can everybody tell me, did my screen actually turn or not? Did it freeze on your side? This is important for me to know because if it did, I want to know. So let me know, are you seeing me or is it frozen? It freezes. Okay, so I do know that's what's happening. Okay, so, but not. Okay, cool. I will probably do it front screen the majority of the time until we get the fix that I'm sure Periscope will come through with. But that was it for the day, and I hope you guys have a most awesome weekend. I will be back here on Friday about the same time. This works good for me. Hope it works good for you. See you in tomorrow, and share this with your friends. It's good information. Bye for now.